Hello again, my name is Amethyst Treleaven and this is Celtic Ogham reading 813 for my client with the initials SP. Okay, SP, you asked me to focus for you on whether you would finish your studying, carry on with a career in that chosen field, whether your current state of health will continue or change, and about whether the future that you're currently experiencing will be a bit of a status quo or whether that will change in some way. We'll answer those questions as we go through this reading, and we'll look primarily here for those answers, which are the staves, the Ogham staves that look more at the future, but we'll start here and we'll work our way around as we normally do. So this Ogham stave here is Ilium or pine, and this is in the position that themes your whole reading. Now this is really interesting because this is about looking at things, the bigger picture of things, if you like. It's not about how you focus on little things through the day. It is very much about seeing the broader picture of life, and this is really quite important for you because it's about, for you, it's not about the little things that bug you, it's about where are you going in the longer term of your life. So we're going to pick up on that quite a bit as we go through this reading. Over here, these three staves here are about the last year or so, and they are themed with this Ogham stave here, which is U or Idaho. Now, in these three Ogham staves here, very much it talks about lots of change. This one particularly, U or Idaho, is very much about changes that you've created, that you've put in place, and as a result of that a lot of other things have happened as well. However, what I also see here, here for instance, is Ash or Newen, and this is about changes that other people have made that have been imposed on you, or circumstance. So you know, when you see those two together, it's a real year of change. But then when we add this one into the mix as well, this is Mewen or Vine, this is about harvesting, it's about reaping the rewards of what you've sown. It's about it's about reward for effort. Now that's underneath Ash. So for you, this last year, what we can kind of gather from that in this last year is that it's been a massive year of change, clearly, much of which you've put into place, because I get the real sense here that you decided to take control of your life and you were going to go for it. There was no more of this allowing other people to tell you what to do. You were going to be really strong, and I get the sense that you've always been really strong and very independent, but even more so in the last year. And as a result of that, there's been some major shifts and some great positivity coming through for you. This Ogham stave here that's sitting in the middle is Ivy or Gort, and this is in the position of what's happening in your life, I guess, right now. Ivy or Gort is very much about survival, in fact. And that doesn't sound, I hope that doesn't sound negative, because that's not what that is. But what it's saying is that even though the last 12 months has been a great time of change for you, and a real defiant almost shift towards independence and I will achieve, which is fantastic, there's still an undercurrent for you of, oh my goodness, can I do this, can I do this? And absolutely, yes, you can do this. We can see that you can do this, and it is inspirational what you can achieve and have achieved and will continue to achieve. What Gort tells me, though, is that you tend to put on a brave smile for the rest of the world, but underneath there's still a great deal of loneliness and still a great deal of Sadness might be too strong a term, but a feeling of being left out, a feeling of not being quite as fulfilled as you would want to be. So let's focus here on these 4 staves here, because these ones are the ones that really will talk about the questions that you asked. We start this off with coal or hazel, and I'm really pleased to see this here along with this one. This one here is Sile or Willow, and these two actually have a great connection with one another. Coal or hazel is about wisdom. It's about innate wisdom. So it's not about necessarily intellectual learning, although in your case it has a relationship with that in terms of study. Coal or hazel says very much that the year ahead is one of continued learning. So you asked me, in fact, will you continue your study? Yes, you will. It might not be as easy as you, or it may be a little bit more difficult on occasions than you had anticipated, but yes, you will continue with that study, and I'll pick up a little bit more on that as we go through. I just want to talk about these other 3 ones individually, and then we'll pull it all together. As I mentioned, Sile or Willow, very closely linked with this one here. Willow is about, whilst this is about your innate wisdom and continuing to learn and grow, this is about your inner magic, if you like. It's about intuition, it's about femininity, it's about flexibility. And I'm really pleased to see that this is on top here of this stave here. This is about continued growth and development. So again, can you see that theme that's coming through here of continued study, of continued growth, of continued learning? And sitting underneath that is Beth or Birch. And Birch is about new experiences. It's about going into new forms of life, new chapters of life, if you like. But it's also about taking risks. You've become accustomed, if you like, to taking risks, both emotionally and practically, and in many ways you've had no option but to do so. But in the coming year, those risks that you're going to choose to take will be risks associated with an outcome. Remember, we talked here about vine, which said that you will reap what you sow. So for you, it's very much about grabbing your heart and saying, oh my gosh, can I do this, can I do this, and just going for it and doing it because the outcomes are there for you. So it's about bravery as well. And then down at the bottom here we have Ingertol or broom, and that's also related a little bit with Beth in that it talks about the need to sweep away old fears, old worries, old concerns, even people as well, and behaviours that don't serve you anymore. This is very much about, broom is about sweeping away all of the old stuff so that you can let the new stuff in. So really harmonious, synchronized Ogham staves here, and I'm really pleased to see this here. So this is a really bright 12 months ahead, and what it says clearly is that yes, you will continue to study. In actual fact, you asked me, will you finish this study course? Yeah, you will, but you're actually going to go on and do a little bit more study after that. Not immediately, there'll be a break, but then you're going to pick up and do some more study, and you're going to be teaching other people as well, and supporting other people as a result of that. I think one of the questions that you wanted to ask but actually didn't ask is, will you work in the field that you are studying afterwards? Yes, you will, but it will be a slightly sideways workplace. What am I saying there? I'm trying to find the right words for you. So here is your field of study, and around that would be the predicted job that you would have. You're going to have a job that's closely related to that, but that is much more about the support of other people related to your study. So it's a little bit sideways, and then you're going to pick up on more study afterwards and more sideways shifts. So for you, massive curves of learning in the coming year, a massive growth and development for you. So I really encourage you to keep going with that study, because you are absolutely on the right course of study and of career choice at this point, even though it's going to deviate and go sideways in the future. That's a really good thing for you. You asked me about your current state of health, whether that will continue. They're actually not talking about that at all, because they're much more excited about the continuing course of study that you're going to have, the job that you will have at the end of that, and then more study after that later on as well. So I'm not really sure that I can answer that question for you. Will the current state of affairs, if you like, continue? Yes, it will. There is going to be status quo, if you like, in terms of your general state of living, if you like. But what's interesting here is that as I mentioned, we have these two here, Ingertol, which is broom, and Beth or birch. Both of these talking about some new situations happening. There's some new people coming into your life. I really encourage you to embrace the new people that are coming into your life. There's some new experiences coming into your life in the next 12 months as well, most of which you put into place, by the way. Again, this continuation for you of independence, of being resourceful, of taking action for yourself, and not allowing other people to dominate and make choices for you. Really, really important that you continue in that way. I don't see any love interests necessarily coming in. I do see some changes in terms of where you live. I don't know where you live, but I see it's not necessarily a change of address, so I don't necessarily see you moving house, but there are some changes that you make to the house, and I'm not sure whether that means, I'm trying to understand the messages that I'm being sent here about this. I'm not sure if that means that the house, the property that you live in gets redecorated. I think it's more than that. Are there some changes to the kitchen coming, changes to some doors? There's some new carpentry work. There's some new refurbishment. It's not just redecoration. There's some more stuff that's actually going to be happening where you live in order to make it easier for you, modernized, and much more suitable for you as well. So that's really encouraging, and that's great. And I see that there's no cost involved for that for you. So I'm not sure what that's all about. That's really good. So you get some really good outcomes in terms of where you live, but it's not actually going to cost you anything. So that's really fantastic. I want to talk now about Wolf. He was your Druid Animal Oracle card that came out. Wolf is fantastic. Wolf or Fowl. Wolf is generally fiercely protective of her family, and she represents common sense and reason, but also loyalty and faithfulness. And you are a very faithful, loyal person. Wolf, however, will be loyal to the point where she sacrifices her own life for her family or for her clan where that is necessary. And I sense very much in you that sometimes you, in the past, have allowed yourself to be almost a doormat, for the want of a better phrase, for the benefit of other people. So you have ignored your own needs on many occasions when you felt other people have needed you more. So Wolf talks very much about the need for you to balance that a little bit more. Wolf, she's also a creature that understands, interestingly enough, that learning brings new rewards. So, you know, we talked about rewards here, and we talked about learning with these two here, and Wolf backs that up very, very much. She's very much about taking on learning and study and growing and developing with that. So again, she reinforces that you will continue with study, and there might be some difficulties involved in that, but you will definitely continue that, and that you will get the rewards at the end of that as well. So Wolf is all about saying, yes, you can do it, but she's about saying, take a leap of faith and go with it. Just trust that it will be okay, and that you can move forward and face the challenges that study slams in your way, and you can rise above it and be victorious. She's very much about that. Wolves are also very brave creatures, and you know, I talked about that down here in terms of what people would consider as being brave for you, and they stand up for what they believe is right. So Wolf is very much about standing up for the underdog, if you like. And so she asks you to balance that need that you have of supporting other people who are in need with the fact that you also need support as well. You need to support yourself. So please think about how you balance your own needs and the needs of other people as well. I'm hoping that makes a little bit of sense for you. So overall then, we have a year where you continue your study and you do get a job at the end of that, and as I talked about, that will be slightly not exactly within the field that you're studying, but very, very closely related to it. And then excuse me, I see continued study that you take up a year or so after that as well. I don't see anything about your health at all, so I'm taking that at this point as being a good message, in that there are no major catastrophes to contend with, and status quo continues, and that the coming year ahead is very positive for you, is very bright, is actually quite peaceful, but there's also some degrees of excitement in there as well. So I hope that is beneficial for you and helps you make decisions moving forward.